Welcome back to Fox Netball and Sunday afternoon netball. It is a big game here in Sydney and an important game between the New South Wales Swifts and the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Sam Pullman joining me in commentary, and we've said it a lot this week and certainly in the opener. Crazy to think that all of the sides sitting in the bottom four on 12 points, someone can get themselves into the top four.
Isn't it just a reflection of how good this Super Netball season is this year, that it's so tightly contested at this point in the season, and we're not convinced who's going to make the top four.
No idea who's going to make the top four. Don't talk about convinced. There's the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Plenty of focus coming from them. They know how important this game is, and to have to do it on the road, but they have to do a lot of their games coming up on the load. Let's have a look at the Woolworths team card and a reminder of how these two sides will start. The New South Wales Swifts going with the same combo in the shooting circle that worked so well for them to start the game last week. Housby, Singleton, the co-captains in the middle, Taylor Fraser on the wing, and then the Diamonds duo in defence in Turner and Clow.
Pot Gita leads the way for the T-Birds in goal shooter. Tipper Dwan has now come out to goal attack, and Georgie Hodges finds herself in wing attack. For me, it's going to be the defence end that's going to be the most exciting matchup, with that New South Wales Swift attack end with Petty, Wilson and Sterling. They are entertaining to watch, and I can't wait to get this game started.
Really interesting for me that they're minus Maisie Nankerville, a mid-court player, but they've brought in Lucy Austin, who is a shooter. So clearly we're always going to push Hodges into wing attack, into the mid-court, and then try and utilise her as much as possible, but they may well need her in that shooting circle. It gives them a lot of flexibility.
Look, for me, she really impressed when she was in the team in round 6 against Vixen, so she's another shooting option for them. I think we'll see the defenders push the centre court down.
Well, we're about to get underway here, and the ball will come and start through. McDonald in centre for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Hodges. Dwan. McDonald. We're not forgetting McDonald starting in centre, and she was one of their best in the last time these two teams met.
She was, as we just see a turnover there, just go a little bit too high, and Hadley comes through with the scraps. She was, and what a matchup does she have today. But as a player, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to match up against the best and bring your A game.
Well, how good was that? We talked about Bryony Akel at the start of the game being a magician. She knows how to coach this one. And one of their biggest game plans is going to be keeping the ball out of the air and away from the superstars in defence in Sterling and Wilson, and that is how you do it. It's movement and it's speed and flat on the pass, Sammy.
Such a great start from them, and they don't need to find a new game plan. They beat Giants by playing that nice, quick moving circle. And Maddie Proud came out this week and said they just need to continue to work on that and get that shuffle shot happening closer to the post.
The old shuffle shot, hey?
Her words.
Whoa! I was about to say we're going to see plenty of that in this game. The lob over to Pot Gita, but a little trip on Sarah Clow's foot. You just saw Maddie Proud in backplay. Here's a Harvey Norman replay. Just the trip, couldn't get her feet and gather the ball. How does she respond from that, Pot Gita? In the meantime, the Swifts up the other end of the court and looking very in control early. Again, the movement, players offering back position and front position. The beautiful sweep coming from Singleton.
And smart there. Maddie Proud had that long ball over to the top. She gave credit to Sterling, went, no, that's her strength. Waited for Singleton, gave the really short in front ball. And smart play.
How good, Kelly Singleton, 3 from 3. She's the only one with the shots on the board. And again, well, there it is. There's a shuffle shot we were talking about earlier. This shot, if that drops, will be a test. Well, she's up for the challenge, Kelly Singleton. 10 from 10 last week in the game against the Giants. Harvey Norman replay. There's the little shuffle shot to get a little closer to the post. For the Adelaide Thunderbirds, they really need to get a score here, don't they? Down 4-0 early days. Dwan. Will she shoot it?
Contact on defence on the arm.
Well, some good defence from Sarah Clow. Certainly a height difference. Have a look at it there. You can see very clearly.
Swifts!
As a tall player, is it hard to come up against a shorter player?
It is, because you're going to laugh at me when I say this. They're out of your vision as as McDonald comes up with a really nice tip and they've gained possession. And great vision from Tipper, goes through the mess. That's exactly much better netball from them in that last passage of play.
Absolutely confident to let it go over Sarah Clow as well.
Well, we just discussed that, saying that they're hard to see with your vision. Sarah Clow's eyes were down, straight into the shooter.
Potgieter fighting for front spot, draws the penalty, but she'll give up the shot. Not really her distance. This, though, is back to 1, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, so they responded brilliantly. Proud. Interesting, Maddie Proud, only 28 feeds against the Adelaide Thunderbirds last time they met. Since then, averaging 51. So either they had a good game on her or Maddie Proud really has upped the ante.
I think she's upped the ante. This Swifts lineup, I think they took a couple of weeks, understandably, when they lost their superstar shooter in Sam Wallace. They are a completely different team now. Well, as Sarah Clow comes up with an incredible intercept.
Again, the vision there and the intent to go long was on, but not when Sarah Clow's down there hunting and waiting. Hadley with a little bit of a shiner above that left eye from the clash last week against the Giants. What a challenge from the captain, Hannah Petty. Well, you know you'll get a solid 60 minutes of effort from her, no matter what it looks like. She'll throw a body at the ball.
Advantage offside, win.
Nowhere to go there, so forced into the corner to find Proud, but again, Singleton, that beautiful sweep.
Goal defense, stand up. Out of play.
Can she make it 5 from 5 to start the game? She can.
Have a look at this Swifts attack line. As we see on the Harvey Norman replay, Hannah Petty getting up and contesting, exactly what we need to see from her. Every ball for the New South Wales Swifts, except for that one, has been coming forward. They're continually driving forward to the ball, which takes your defender out. Now, for me, the balls that do go over the top are the ones to the circle. I'd be telling Coach Moment, Sterling, come out and have a look at that pocket ball.
Well, we actually mentioned Sterling in the warm-up, didn't we? She's got some heavy strapping behind that left knee and looked a little ginger when she was warming up, so we will keep an eye on her performance. You can see the pink tape on the back of that knee, and certainly was lagging a little in the warm-up. So, as I mentioned, we'll keep an eye. What a pass, Maddie Proud, and the movement from Housby just to break the defenders.
And come forward, that's key. They're not floating the ball. Wilson with a great rebound.
Well, 2 misses under the post too from Helen Housby, uncharacteristic from her.
And T-Birds are the highest in the league with defensive rebounds by far. So if you're gonna shoot, you need to make it count against this T-Birds defense end.
Dwan doesn't want to shoot it, looking for an option. Hasn't got herself any closer, but Potgieter has. Well, it's taken a long time. They had 3 in quick succession to get that 4th goal. A little bit longer than Tanya Ops would have liked. Horges. Back to the captain in Petty. Horges. Dwan out of the circle and really crowded from here. Defence working overtime for the New South Wales Swifts, Sam. And forced an error. The build-up of that pressure that you talk about as a defender that's so important.
It is, because little errors like that, yes, it wasn't a clean intercept, however, you gain possession for your team. For me, Adelaide Thunderbirds are just having to work so hard to transition the ball compared to the other end of the court where it's just flowing and opening up so nicely.
Fraser, back to Turner. Plenty of patience around this part of the court as well. Both shooters out of the circle. Back to Hadley. Now they're both in. Helen Housby will take that. Looked like a little bit of a soft contact call. Well, Helen Housby not prepared to shoot when there's no defence on her. Is that telling early?
That's not a normal thing from Helen Housby. She's the one that stands up in that circle and backs herself. And we've just been saying this quarter, don't put the ball in the air. That's why they're dominating T-Birds. And that ball was in the air, which allowed Wilson to use her incredible elevation and footwork to get that intercept.
Caitlin Bassett, what do you make of that? Helen Housby, opportunity to shoot with no defence. Surely you'd take that all day.
Yeah, bizarre not to see her with that confidence. You know too well, Kath, even if you have a few misses, the best way to get your eye back in is keep putting that ball up. 1 from 3 for her at the moment at 33% is not good enough. And the only way that she's going to fix that stat is by not throwing ball away, number one, but sinking those goals.
You always miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Let that sink in for a moment, everybody. Oh, well, it's just falling apart, isn't it, for the New South Wales Swifts after what looked like a really promising opening couple of minutes. Just silly choice of pass, trying to force the ball, all the things, no doubt, Coach Bryony Akel has told them not to do, as we just saw on the Harvey Norman replay. Potgieter out of the circle. Can she get herself back in?
That is contact winning! Contact centre!
The challenge coming from Maddie Proud. Well, she's up for another massive game, and she'll be well aware that the last time these sides met, it wasn't one of her better. Oh, again, Sarah Clow. She looks like she's quite physical on the body. I don't want to say holding, but is certainly having contesting with her arm on the player, sure. But it's having some effect, and she's already in the head of Potgieter. You can see that she's fading off a lot of her drives to the ball and her movements. That's a massive win mentally.
Where you are.
Again, you can see the grab coming from Sarah Clow.
Where you are, goal attack, goal keeper beside.
Well, one back for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Have a look at the Sarah Clow's work at the ball there. Proud up the middle, waiting for somebody. It's Housby. This is where the movement between the two shooters has got to get back to that really balanced rotation. Lots of swings to the pocket and it opens up, but the feed's either too late or they need to hold it and let the defender overrun.
For me, it's Kelly Singleton. She came out so confident in that first couple of minutes, and those last two passages of play, she had that baseline and hesitated and stopped, which allowed that ball goes because she's on, but then when she stops, the defender comes around. So she just needs to keep doing what she was doing well in that opening few minutes.
Well, just heard the siren there, so it is the start of the Power 5. The Suncorp super shot in play from that white arc. Just like that, the Adelaide Thunderbirds got themselves well and truly back in this game. They level it up. Under 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. And again, Potgieter in a good position. The first take of the ball. I'd love to see her just back herself and shoot it.
We see Taylor Williams come on in that centre position, which is what we thought would happen. Multiple centre court from the T-Birds have to try and outplay Proud.
Tell you what, the Adelaide Thunderbirds are staying in this game at the moment because of the errors coming, but that helps the cause. Kelly Singleton getting herself a defensive stat. The swing to Proud, that's happened a lot this game. There's a nice little connection, but it's Wilson again, wreaking havoc in the Swifts attacking circle. Hannah Petty on the ground twice already. Have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Looked like it was there, but Wilson just put the hand in.
And that's credit to a good defender. When you sit and make it look on, the pass goes, then you come through, read that play and get the intercept.
Helen Housby again, a miss. Okay, so here's the issue. I might get down to Caitlin Bassett and ask her this question. You've got Kelly Singleton that really looks like she's fading off the leads. Helen Housby off her shot. What do you do? Where do you put Sophie Fawns? I expect she's going to come on, but where do you put her?
Well, look, Sophie Fawns has that goal attack bib on at the moment, and I fully agree. I think bringing her on and leaving Helen Housby, who is the experienced player out there. Unfortunately, Kelly Singleton coughed up a little bit of ball with some bad hands, but what I want to see from Helen Housby really to settle this ship is for her to stand up and be strong.
Exactly like that. Well, you called it on cue. What a take. And yes, she looks a little ginger, but my gosh, that'll fire her up. She loves those moments. What a hit from Wilson, and she sinks it. Well, Helen Housby just very quickly turned a corner. The Swifts certainly needed to. We mentioned game one at these two teams was really low scoring, and it looks like it's going to head in that very same direction. Just 7-6 at the moment. 2 minutes left in this opening quarter. Petty, Williams, Gorgeous. There comes the drive and open. Well, it was a great dummy lead from Tipper Dwan just to draw the defenders off enough to find Potgieter.
And a great screen from Potgieter. She went up, down the defender. It opened up the space nicely.
Well, look, that pass didn't work the first 3 times it was thrown. Why are they persisting with it over someone like Sarah Clow? I can imagine in 1.5 minutes that message will be very clear from the head coach as we see Sophie Fawns enter the game at goal attack. Does Helen Housby come alive? Does Fawns take control? That is a good start. Here's the Harvey Norman replay again. Too long, too high. Got to give credit to the Aussie Diamonds defender. Helen Housby looking for someone to pass just to get herself a little closer. Pulls the penalty in the process and she's hit the last 2. Back on track. The English international, and the Swifts need her to be. This is a massive game for them in terms of their season prospects. So many tips going the way of the New South Wales Swifts at the moment.
Well, you look at Sarah Clow, she's already in this match sitting on 2 intercepts. And while I'll always give credit to a goalkeeper, the intercepts that she's getting, the pass isn't enough. And she goes up for another rebound, and Swifts gain possession once again.
Well, 20 seconds or less here for the New South Wales Swifts. Can they do something with it? Smart penalty from Williams. Wasted a few seconds then. She's out of play, but it won't matter because it may have done the job in slowing the Swifts up to the goal circle. Got to get there quickly. Fawns, Housby. Can she sink a Suncorp Super netball shot? Not as she gets rejected by Shamira Sterling. Well, talk about being able to hold a team out. Shamira Sterling can do it. What a first quarter. The New South Wales Swifts just holding the Adelaide Thunderbirds out by the 2 goals.
Welcome back to Ken Rosewell Arena, where the New South Wales Swifts are leading the Adelaide Thunderbirds by 2 goals. Listening in to the Swifts huddle, Coach Bryony Akel telling her players they need more movement in their attacking end and a quicker, faster transition down into their defence. Kath's been listening into the Thunderbirds huddle. Kath, what do they have to say?
Plenty of stuff down there coming from Tanya Obst, and a lot of it we're not really surprised about because we talked about it in that opening quarter. One of them, Potgieter, saying that Sarah Clow absolutely riding her, not so much hunting, so they need to work the ball shorter, sharper, down to circle edge, not those big long passes, and also for Tipper Dwan to get in there with those sweeping drives and pull the defenders apart and try to create some of those mismatches. Just the 2 in it though, the Adelaide Thunderbirds certainly not out of this contest, but they do need to be far more controlled in attack, far more disciplined. They're doing a lot of good stuff in defence though, Sam.
They are. For me, Wilson has been an absolute standout in this first quarter. I think we spend so much time talking about Sterling, where for me it's been Wilson.
Adelaide up the middle, Helen Housby. We saw her start to mix that up. At the end of that, well, there's another tip, another positive coming from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. The issue for them in that first quarter, 9 turnovers, way too many in one quarter. Have to tidy it up. Have to score here. Dwan missing the connection to Potgieter. Well, they're working overtime. That's a beautiful ball, though.
And that's the exact mismatch that they spoke about in quarter time. They want Turner on Potgieter to create that height mismatch. And that's exactly what happened. They found the space.
Potgieter again out of the circle, coming out a lot more than I've seen her in recent times. I don't know if that's because she doesn't have Georgie Horges there in goal attack, knows how she plays a little bit more. This is long distance, hence she doesn't take it. Little closer, and that is certainly her range. 9-all. Can't believe how low scoring this is.
Well, the last time they met, it was the same thing. It was as Wilson comes up with another intercept. We see on the Harvey Norman replay that shuffle shot from Potgieter.
Yeah, Wilson having an absolute ripper of a game, isn't she? Out at goal defence, the Adelaide Thunderbirds starting to consolidate, starting to convert some of those wins, and that's going to make them really dangerous.
And that's what they need to do. They do have the best defence end in the competition and the lowest when we talk about goals against them. Their challenge is to use those gains and score off them down the other end of the court.
Well, kept it in, Georgie Horges, but no one there to chase it up. Those are those errors you're talking about. Really not even forced into them, Sam.
It's the simple stuff, and as a coach and as your teammates on the sideline, it can be really frustrating when little simple errors go over the baseline like that. And we have to acknowledge that Super Netball and this season is so tight. You can't be just losing possession.
How good, though.
What a win from Taylor Williams.
Straight through the middle, strong take with both hands. Absolutely no question that that ball was hers. Let's have a look on the Harvey Norman replay. And Maddie Proud goes down in the process. Well, let's talk about Maddie Proud, because she's been relatively quiet. She is still leading the feeds with 11, sitting on just 10 miss and net points with the 2 turnovers, though. But she's a quality player. She can certainly turn a game around. Another tip from Turner.
And very lucky. I actually thought that went off the T-Birds then. They need to continue to use their attacking movements to get this Swifts defence end off their back and open up some space.
Well, there's the movement. It was beautiful, but the drop ball to come.
And that's the pressure. She said at quarter time that clout is wearing me, and that's what can happen to you when you've got someone in your back the entire time. Simple things like catching a ball can be difficult.
Well, talk about catching a ball being difficult. Maddie Proud straight away just shook her hands and went to wipe them on a uniform. It is hot in here tonight for a game that's happening in the middle of May. The players are sweaty. Well, Hannah Petty has got no issue with making the ball stick. Nearly caused a huge turnover. Well, it's almost like they need to call time here and maybe wipe the ball. Looks like a few slipping through the hands. Uncharacteristically. Some good touch on that one to Potgieter.
And a much better transition when we talk about goal, gain to goal.
It's an HCF timeout to the New South Wales Swifts, and the reason being the Adelaide Thunderbirds have just hit the lead for the first time in this game. At the moment, Sam Wallace doing all the talk. Here comes Bryony Akel. Let's have a little listen.
Okay, from an attacking point of view, guys, I still think we're a second behind. So they're setting up in front and we're waiting to see which is the right thing to do. But I almost think as soon as someone's caught the ball and turned, you're ready to punch. I think we're that one step behind, then we go. So do earlier work on these prelims and use different angles. Take them away, come to the ball. Take them front, drop back. I just think we're same, and that's causing us to panic. Must finish. Our placement is terrible. We're telegraphing it. We're looking, look away, then throw it. All right? Are we good, Helen? Yeah. Yeah? Let's go. Yeah. Guys, let's work each other back into this by doing the basics well. Do we know what we're going to do on centre pass? Are we very clear on that? Yeah. Yeah, let's reward these guys getting the ball back. Let's go.
Hey guys, everything's there. It's the tiny little execution. It's the brain fades. It's a little lapses in concentration. Other than that, we're getting so much ball back. We take a breath, we go back to basics, but we make sure we demand the ball from one another. When someone's got the ball, they show it.
Interesting to hear head coach Bryony Akel said, let's do the next part of this game in control. Speaking of next, here's the next 5 games. and they're away. They finished the last couple of the regular season at home. So some big challenges coming up there. The West Coast Fever and the Vixens both sitting at the top of the table. Sarah Clow, another tip, and another one. So how hard is that, Sam? She gets a tip outside the circle, gets herself all the way back in, and another one.
So hard to do. Incredible footwork from Sarah Clow. As a defender, you want to be able to cover 1, 2, 3 efforts. Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. She is in everything.
Because she's in everything, there's so much doubt now in that attacking line. That is a brilliant passage of play from the New South Wales Swifts. Pure timing at its best.
And that's exactly what the coach asked. She said that they were a second behind. They needed to use their prelims and get their timing back. And placement, beautiful placement. Sarah Clow again!
Having an absolute blinder here, Sarah Clow. Now, we spoke about one of the changes because of Maisie Nankerville being out. That is Lucy Austin. She's on the bench.
Have a look at this.
Yeah, amazing take. It did look for a moment like Potgieter was in front, though. Lucy Austin, some stature. Very tall player. Could be a good change-up for them at this point in time. Something to think about.
Exactly, and that's why she's in this lineup. For me, in round 6, she debuted. She is a strong pathway athlete for the Netball South Australia, pathway. So she certainly is a talented player. She has the ability to stand strong and have a lot of volume on the court as well. I'd be looking at that change.
Caitlin Bassett, really interesting to see the change between Housby and Fawns positionally on the court. What do you make of that move?
Yeah, look, I saw Coach Bronnie Akel directing Fawns and Housby to switch leads at the start of that game, at the start of that quarter, and I think because all due to respect, Wilson is having a fiery game, and then putting Housby, the more experienced player, on her, really take her out of the equation and let Fawns sit back in the circle and create some movement back there.
Well, there it is, another little tip, and nearly lost the umpire in the back of play, though. Potgieter underneath the post. 10 from 12 for Lenise Potgieter. So as per usual, doing most of the damage in the shooting circle. And definitely needed to change something to try and take Wilson out of the game down this attack line, because she's having a cracker. Sophie Fawns been good since she's come on. Hasn't missed a shot yet. There's your score breakdown. So the Swifts in control, but the Adelaide Thunderbirds sneaking themselves back in the contest in this second quarter.
Much better play from this attack line. But a great pressure from Turner. That pressure, that 3 seconds over the ball, you have to get up and shoot that.
Well, that's the beauty of the change that's been made between Fawns and Housby. Housby up strong in the air, taking that ball confidently, even though the challenge was coming from Wilson. Still putting the ball in the air, though, Sam.
Well, I think it's really smart play in this game. Yes, they went into it, identifying that strengths of Sterling is to play it high. But now, if we look at the stats, Sterling hasn't touched the ball yet. So they have that confidence. They can take that risk and see if she's in there. The person that's getting the height and everything is actually Wilson.
Yeah, and it's still the high balls, though. So that was another one they tried to force through. And it's Wilson that's ended up with it. So I'd love to see them go back to short, sharp, nice timing. Got two very mobile shooters down there in Fawns and Housby, so there's no reason they can't play that game and play it well.
Well, and go back to what was working, right? We said at the start of the game that speed last week against the Giants really outplayed them. They had no answers. They don't need to recreate a new game plan. They just need to go back to what works.
Georgie Horges with the ball outside the circle. Well, look, there's the damage that Sarah Clow's done. That was a one-on-one that should have gone. Too scared to put it up now.
Should have gone. I sat here and went, don't give that ball, considering
totally
how the form of Sarah Clow.
Well, that's my point,
But you're
though.
right. The doubt is there, so they're not confident that ball would go. If you're confident in your centre court, yes, you'd let it go. But in this point of the game, I would go, no, credit to Clow.
Well, Sarah Clow can take another massive pat on the back as the Adelaide Thunderbirds throw the ball out of court again.
Well, they throw the ball out of the court and nobody communicates. None of them look at each other. They all just drop their heads as Taylor Williams flies through and gets an intercept. Hasn't she been great since she's entered the court?
Been great. 3 intercepts. She's been amazing. And they have certainly needed her to get in there and try and inject some sort of spark in this Adelaide Thunderbirds lineup.
Well, and we said whoever was going to go up against Proud today needed to bring a defensive game, and that's exactly what Williams has brought.
Just over a minute away from the Power 5. Helen Housby, another one on the board. A little shaky at the start of this game, but she's since found the radar. Long to Horges. Well, again, Potgieter, though, is playing into that backspace. I wouldn't pass it to her either. She needs to make the move forward.
Well, there's 2 things, Coxie. You either have to say, give me that ball into the backspace, or you're right, if they're not giving it to you, your movement has to continually be forward.
Well, they're not giving it.
So you have to adjust.
Yeah, absolutely. She can't continue to do the same thing. Another good contest coming from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. The ball coming out of the hands of Maddie Proud. So again, it's the Adelaide Thunderbirds of old, isn't it? Winning so much ball back and really just struggling to convert it at the other end.
Well, when we talk about the T-Birds, they are the best defensive in the league, but they're the lowest scoring team when we talk about attacks as well. And look at this Nissan net point match leaders. Wilson, no surprise, 52 points at the top, but Clow as well, and Williams. So the 3 players that we're continually talking about, no surprise that they're nailing the net point match leaders.
Well, I suspect there might be somewhat of a spray coming from the Adelaide Thunderbirds head coach, Tanya Robb. She's called the HCF timeout. There's been 12 gains for the Adelaide Thunderbirds to start this game. They should be up by a lot more than what they currently are. Let's have a little listen.
You can come in the other side. Yep. Okay. And who's our next line to you? Right. If she's coming out, and you're going back in, let's maybe do a switch. If she can, do we want to try that? You stay in, you go across. Yeah. Let's just try that for a little bit and see if we can do both those moments. Keep them. All right. I reckon you can keep using maybe where you swing in and then go back in behind. Yeah. That one's working well. And you know that ball. Just whose is it? Just a voice. Do you know? Just call it. All right.
Catch the ball next time. Yeah. Good one. Yeah.
All right. Who is it? But no, George with the centre passes as well, because George had called the back door. So you know that one. So let's just make sure we've got that connection the whole time. Radio.
Well, Sam, we're talking about the errors coming from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. They're only down by 1. So there is no real reason to panic here. You'd certainly expect more from them, given how much ball they're having. Look at the next 5 games. And the last 2, well, that's a tough way to finish any season, isn't it? The top of the table. There's the ball over the top again. Potgieter pulls it in this time, though, and they level it up right on the siren for the Power 5. No side in a position here where they really have to start shooting these Suncorp super shots. Will they do it, though, or just play it as it comes?
Keep eye contact, just in the 2.
Well, a penalty in that exact position against Shamira Sterling. Helen Housby does love this distance. There it is. It is the first Suncorp super shot of the game to fall to. A couple of attempts made in that first quarter. But the first one to drop, so the Swifts now up by 2.
Advantage break goal attack.
Dwan to Horges. Dwan's got to get herself in that circle and really start to mix up the movement.
With defense contact. With the wing.
We're trying to set a little screen between the 2, and it's a beautiful one. Well read from Williams over the top to Potgieter. Hadley. Here's the Harvey Norman replay. You can just see the little screen between the 2 players. Beautiful touch on the pass to Potgieter. Takes it on the fingertips.
Release the ball. Just next one, release the ball. One over the wing attack.
Fawns out of the circle again. The high pass over the top. It's not working. It hasn't been working.
And give credit to Sterling. That is her strength. We've said that she's been really quiet in this game, yet have a look at this Harvey Norman replay, throwing over someone like Sterling. You're just giving her the stat.
Well, the same thing's happening up the other end. And we mentioned the last time these sides met, it was 1 goal the difference. It was a very low-scoring encounter, and we're heading towards the same sort of game, aren't we?
Well, I asked for a draw, didn't I, Coxie? Extra time.
Woo. Change being made here. Taylor Fraser off, and Ali Smith has come on to the court in wing defence. What do you make of that change? Just about keeping legs fresh, given there's a lot of games coming up midweek one starting on Tuesday.
Yeah, really smart play. I think just continually making the attack line for the Thunderbirds have to adjust. Smith brings a real grind to it like Fraser, but her hands over, she has really long arms. So what that means is she has the ability to pressure that feeder, her hands over, and stop that vision.
Well, 2 exceptional leans over the shot from Maddie Turner, but it doesn't matter. The super shot from Tipper Dwan. So they level it up here again, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. 2.5 minutes from the halftime break. Sophie Fawns wants a piece of the action, but I think there was a little tip there from Sterling. Potgieter out of the circle again. Got to get herself back in there. It's way too crowded as it is. There's the last 10. It's gone goal for goal. Potgieter not sure if she wanted to back herself, but does. Well, this is going to be a tight game right the way through if this opening half has been anything to go by. Wilson on the ground momentarily. Enough time to get the ball over to Housby. Oh, another one of those silly errors, a footwork call coming against Tipper Dwan. So the New South Wales Swifts here can get themselves a little buffer as they head into half-time. Not if they continue to do the cross-court pass that Williams has been eating this entire game.
Hasn't she been absolutely outstanding? The ability to read the ball but use her speed and footwork to come through and get the intercept. That is her 5th intercept for this game, Kath, and we're only in the second quarter. That
is insane, isn't it? When you think about the defensive prowess that's in this team with Sterling and Wilson. There she is sitting at the top, Clow underneath at 4, and no Shamira Sterling to be seen in that top 5. Beautiful ball, flat and hard. That's how they beat this Adelaide Thunderbirds defensive line. And that there too, the shot, confidence from Sophie Fawns. Dwan, Horges, Dwan, under pressure from Smith, gets the penalty. The placement not right. Again, I think a bad choice of pass. Potgieter, I'd like to see just try and reposition a bit and protect the space a little more than what we're currently seeing.
Or just wait with her timing. I feel like she moved off too quickly, which allowed Cloud to use her footwork to come into it. So if you're going to hold, wait till the ball is up in the air, then you can move off.
Adelaide Thunderbirds, when they have the ball on the edge of the circle, find Potgieter with ease. Just been trying to force it far too long, haven't they? Hadley. Long again, up in the air.
Wilson comes up with another intercept. As you mentioned, in the air. That's her strength. And her vertical jump is incredible. How many is too many until you start realising that that is not a good decision?
Sam Pullman, 6 ago, was too many, yet they've continued to do it. Welcome back to Ken Rosewell Arena. Well, 2 of us tipped a draw. There was one yesterday at the end of regular time, and we could well be on our way to another at the moment. Nothing separating the New South Wales Swifts and the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Swifts out to a cracking start at the start of this game. It was 4-0. Adelaide Thunderbirds got themselves back in the contest then, and they've stayed goal for goal pretty much since their Sam Pullman. What do you reckon the instruction would have been to the Adelaide Thunderbirds, probably in particular at that halftime break?
For me, it's focusing on what they can do with their possession game. So for me, Tanya would be talking lots about their movement, having options, making sure that that pass is definite, because they certainly are getting hands on ball. I mean, Wilson, outstanding 3 intercepts to her, and Taylor Williams, 5 intercepts in this game from her. From a centre court, that's amazing. So the ball in hand isn't their issue. It's the turnover rate that they need to really make sure doesn't continue in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that same discussion will be going to the New South Wales Swifts and Bryony Akel. But to confirm and see if we're even slightly on track, let's get down to the head coach of the Adelaide Thunderbirds, Tanya Obbs, who's been nice enough to join us. Tans, quickly, what were your instructions to the group at halftime? Obviously in the game, but there's probably more you want from them.
Yeah, look, I think we just needed to get sort of first and second phase sorted out in centre pass, and you know, getting some more depth there, and obviously cherishing some of that turnover ball that we're getting and making sure we clear it out of the defence third.
Tanya, you have the luxury of having the best defence end in the competition. I mean, how exciting for me. Wilson's come on and had a really strong game. Have you been impressed? And Williams, should I add. Have you been impressed what the defence end, or you just expect that because that's the defence end this year, they get ball for you?
I really thought that Laddie Wilson kept us in the game in the first quarter. It could have really blown out there. I thought she was exceptional, and look, nothing that they do sort of surprises me. They're brilliant with our defence. We've been working really hard on that, and yeah, you know, she was pretty exceptional early. And Taylor's made a massive difference in defence.
Can you give us some insight of your feedback and instruction to Potgieter? I feel like sometimes she had that really nice hold, but was just coming off too early, and it allowed Cloud to get into the game and get those intercepts.
Yeah, she probably did. I think we were also, I thought Tipper needed to get in the circle a little bit quicker as well to, you know, create a little bit of potentially a mismatch in the circle. So I think it's a combination of maybe Lenny holding her leads a little bit versus sort of Tipper coming in and helping out, creating some more space in that circle for her.
Tans, just quickly, one last one. Is Shamira Sterling okay? Noticed a little ginger in the warm-up, the strapping behind the knee, obviously not having one of her bigger games.
Yeah, no, she's okay. She'll be right.
Great, good to hear. All right, all the best for the second half.
Okay, cheers.
Not giving much away, is she, in that regard?
Well, and why should you if you're the coach? But what I've really found interesting is once again she identified that they want that mismatch between Turner and Cloud down in that circle. So that, I think, is their game plan down that end.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that as this second half plays out. Fawn's out of the circle. Looks straight for the connection, but again, it's the release of the ball. Feel like it's a little bit telegraphed, Sam?
Yeah, it is, and that's what they spoke about as we see another change in possession. Both teams just really need to settle. You're right, that's what Bryony said in her timeout. I think in that first quarter said, let's not telegraph the passes. You can use fakes, you can look at one option to drag the defenders. If you're staring at where you're going to throw it, it allows the 3 feet to have a go and someone read the intercept.
Well, Sophie Fawn sinks another, gives them the 2-goal buffer. The New South Wales Swifts, it was goal for much of that third quarter. Big long ball to Williams in the pocket. Follow-up comes from Potgieter, but they're nowhere to go. Dwan's got to get in here. This is where the head coach, Tanya Obbs, wanted her to be part of the play. Back to 1. Denise Potgieter, 19 from 21, 90%, so no issue with accuracy coming from her. Oh, Wilson had a very good look at it, a little bit too late. And a caution. Do you think they deserved a caution?
I think the umpire, no, I don't, but I think she's tidied that up early. So a late contest can be really risky. So credit to her to go, let's just tidy that up.
We talked about this on centre circle, didn't we? As there's just time to wipe the floor. But about, is that time to give a caution, or is it time just to say, just settle down, guys? Do you need to go that extra step, do you think, to really take control?
I'd be saying to the player, just watch your line at the ball, because that's exactly what happened. She read the intercept. Fawns did a really good job of taking a step onto the ball, which meant that Wilson ran through the player. So I like that the umpire's taking control and said, let's just tidy up, get off the line, just to be safe.
Caitlin Bassett, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I'm going to disagree with both of you. I think definitely time for it. She did a big hit against Housby in that first quarter. This is the second now, dangerous, little bit late contact, and while it wasn't serious, I think it now puts her on notice that is no more.
Fair enough too, and as we said, it is a tough job for the umpires certainly, and they're at the moment keeping control of this game. Who would umpire, who would coach? A couple of things tick off my list.
We'll just talk Nettie instead, Coxie.
Yeah, nice connection there from Helen Housby. Bryony Akel and Rebecca Bully like it. Wanting to see a lot more of it though, the New South Wales Swifts, to try and break away from this Adelaide Thunderbirds side who's just hanging in there, not letting it go. Well, Sarah Clow, another tip though, and the chase coming from Maddie Turner. So what a play from the defensive duo.
Hey, obstruction, shooter!
Oh,
Williams!
Taylor Williams! Well, talk about a standout performance. And how heartbreaking to see all of that work just disappear down the drain. Williams and Clow now both sitting on 5 intercepts, but every time there's one of those brilliant intercepts, the Adelaide Thunderbirds find new and unusual ways to throw it away. Straight up the middle from Fawns. The tip from Hannah Petty. Will be a penalty outside, just inside the circle. Sorry, Helen Housby looks for a quick 1-2. 1-2-3. And nails it. Here's a Harvey Norman replay. So really quick on the release of the ball, and I felt like that was missing a little bit too in that opening half.
Well, and that's the shuffle shot that they were talking about. They wanted to quick ball movement to get as close to the post as you can to make it, dare I say it, an easier shot.
Well, unlucky tipper Dwan was in front position then. Didn't like the call. Nonetheless, got to get on with the job though, and that's got to get yourself back in play and try and stop this Swifts line. Now out by 3, they sink it here, they can make it 4. Oh, the rejection! Well, no, it's been deemed to be within 3 feet.
With the shooter.
Interesting to see the call didn't come until the rejection happened though.
Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. It was out of Fawn's hands. I actually thought that was rejection.
Yeah, I did too, 100%. And it wouldn't be a surprise, would it, coming from Shamira Sterling? She's been so good at them this season.
Well, the ball has to go out of the attacker's hand for it to be a rejection. That there was enough space between the fingertips of Fawns and the air for her to be able to reject it.
Swift still leading by 3, 8.5 to go in this third quarter. It's a long ball to Proud. Shamira Sterling would normally have a really good look at that. Do you actually think she's 100% fit?
Not at all. I've been watching her this last couple of plays. Another great rebound in exactly what that defence end is really strong at. But for me, she's not even bothering going out and chasing her player. She's just kind of sitting there. Normally you'd see her sit and go and attack and read the ball. So something's not quite there. I mean, you have the luxury of Wilson playing a really good game in front of you. So I guess she's almost getting away with it in this match. She's doing enough for her team.
Well, the issue is obviously without Garrett too, out with COVID. They do have Blackman on the bench, but it's the only other defender they've got at the moment. All the way back to Petty, and it's another turnover the way of the New South Wales Swifts. Oh gosh, it's a tennis match again.
Well, when you look at the transition in the mid-court, everything is going away, which means the defender can come through and read that ball. So those little touches and intercepts is because all the choices of passes are going away. Have a look at this Harvey Norman replay. Really smart little contest because the player is behind the defender. So that ball once again going over.
Oh, there she is. Well, heard us say that we thought she'd been a little quiet. Can't keep possession of it though, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Sitting in the middle of the court here, the Adelaide Thunderbirds, a bit more off the body. You can see Sterling outside the circle, and that's how you beat it. Straight through the middle, the step onto the ball.
And that's what they were doing well in that first half. I mean, have a look down this other end. Smith has now come into goal defence. Interesting change because she provides a different, really fast kind of grind tagging team on Tipper Dawn.
And also maybe thinking about keeping legs fresh given the quick turnaround. Teams will be playing midweek Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And this is where you're going to really see teams coaching strategies and smart decisions under pressure, but also the depth of each of the team. Can the player come on and inject something and do a good job? Or are you just leaving the 7 out just to kind of grind through it and get tired and do the best they can?
And I, of course, meant Tuesday and Wednesday, not Thursday, but a very, very quick turnaround from round 9 to round 10, and then again the following weekend to round 11. Got to do their best to keep players fresh in this period of time, as they did in our first lot of midweek games. One outside the circle, got to get herself back in there though. Try and make these defenders shift, try and make them move. Well, she does that, and there's the connection.
So much better, and that was because she moved. She sat there and went, give it to me. They made her move, and it opened up nicely. As a defender, the more you have to move and adjust and continually effort, the more chance the attack end has the ability to come through.
Potgieter 24 from 27, and some good support coming from Tipper Dwan in terms of accuracy. Just the one Suncorp super shot, and that was a beautiful triangle of play. Haven't seen a lot of that from the New South Wales Swifts, and that's their bread and butter. And it'll be an HCF timeout the way of the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Interesting to note that it's happened right on the siren of the Power 5. Are there going to be some changes or some chat around how they play this 5 minutes? Let's have a listen to the Adelaide Thunderbirds head coach.
Let's maybe have a little bit more where you start a bit deeper. Let's have a look at Hannah, and if we get, or Hannah or Laddie, gets in backdoor, we might even be able to go forward with you, yeah? And then let's have a look at a strong line up to the ball from the centre third. Do you know what I mean? It might not be you crossing, it might be Tipper exiting, yeah? And then you can connect that next one. So it's almost like we go playing a little bit of checkers again. So down, across, yeah? Yep. Rightio, last 5 minutes. Yep. Covering the twos. Yeah. Yep. You just keep playing your game. If it's on, go for it, right?
What do you make of that chat there, Sam Pullman?
Well, Coxie did play checkers because I love Tanya just referencing that they need to go down the court with an option and then go across. Interesting though, I would never really recommend a cross-court ball, but her feedback I think is clever. And the reason why is if you go direct and then sideways, it shifts your whole court and defenders. So really smart coaching there from Tanya.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not kind of a checkers girl, more of a Monopoly.
I second that.
Wilson all the way back to Petty. Wilson again. Looking for something to come. Nothing is. Yeah, Shamira Sterling is definitely not 100%. Even in taking that ball, looked a little ginger. The drive from Dwan was good. It was strong. It's moving players.
And that's what you want from a goal attack. You want them to drive because they'll either get themselves the ball or they'll suck in two defenders.
Well, we've quite often seen at the start of the Power 5, the change for the two smalls in the circle, Dwan and Horges. At the moment, they probably don't have so much of that luxury because Horges is on the wing. But there's no reason it can't work here because the tall height of Potgieter is going to get the rebounds.
It can, and Tanya in that break said, if you are confident, go for it. So you do have that ability to know that you've got a tall shooter that can rebound, but you do take a risk just like then that if it doesn't nail the super shot, you do risk losing possession.
Another good triangle play going from the pocket to the top of the circle with Hadley and just opens up the whole width of the circle. Massive rebound. Well, who's going to get up for it? Every single player in the circle touched the ball. And what a scramble from the co-captain in Paige Hadley. Let's have a look. Housby touches it, Wilson touches it, Fawns does, Sterling chases, and it's Hadley on the floor with a little cuddle from the Jamaican to finish the play. Well, it's all happening here in Kent Rosewall Arena. New South Wales Swifts out by 3. The biggest margin they've had for a while. They've scored the last 2. You can see a little patch of 3 at the start there for the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
For me, it's the last 10 goals a run. It shows a reflection of this game that it is so back and forth.
I feel like a lot smarter work happening in the Swifts attack line, though, in terms of using the ball around the circle. Well, the change was short-lived with Ali Smith at goal defence, Turner back into the mix. Oh, an offensive contact against Lenise Potgieter. Another massive win for Sarah Clow, having a blinder of a game. 5 intercepts, 5 deflections, as we see on the Harvey Norman replay. Interesting call.
I think it's... Look, I'm always going to back...
You love it when I put you on the spot, don't I, about umpire
A defender in front, though. Like, that's been this entire game, that Clow has got herself in a position where she's in front to get up and get that footwork. It's a timing from Potgieter. She needs to hold and be strong.
Not worth an offensive contact call against her, though,
I don't
in the
think
challenge.
so. I think it should have just been the possession game from Clow from the great work she did in front.
Again, another triangle, absolutely exploiting the Thunderbirds' defence. That is the clear game plan in this third quarter for the New South Wales Swifts, and look how well it's working. They've got themselves out by 6. We are not at all having a go at the umpires, fully appreciate how hard the job is to do. Just trying to explain to the viewers.
Yes, and in a game like this, the possession is continually changing, and there's so much going on as we see Maddie Turner hit the court then.
Oh, Sarah Clow again, another tip. Looked like a replay ball coming from Dwan. Gets away with it. The crowd don't like it. Beautiful shot, Lenise Potgieter. Well, this is a danger period, isn't it, for the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and they probably need to maybe have a crack at a couple of Suncorp super shots if they can get the ball back in this final minute. Swifts just opening up.
Actually look at bringing Chelsea onto the court. She is the reserve brought into this game. Blackman has the ability to really run through and intercept really quick footwork. So for me, if you want to gain ball and Sterling's a bit off, put her out at goal defence and Wilson back at goalkeeper.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think for the most part, a Sterling at 50% is still better than a lot of defenders. She's an amazing athlete, but at the moment, not giving a great deal, starting to get really beaten here.
And it's because, to the credit of the New South Wales Swifts attack line, they are doing what they've done the last couple of weeks really well, moving that ball. So you don't need someone that's strong in the air. You need someone that can match and readjust with speed. So for me, I've seen Chelsea come on the court. And I'd be looking that change up.
Sarah Clow can do no wrong. 6 intercepts for the game, and Fawns, the Suncorp super shot, nails it on the buzzer. What a moment for the youngster Sophie Fawns and the New South Wales Swifts, who now have got themselves in a brilliant position, 41-33 as we head to the final quarter.
Welcome back to our Origin Energy quarter time. We're here at Ken Rosewell Arena, where the home side, the New South Wales Swifts, are leading the Adelaide Thunderbirds by 8 goals. The Thunderbirds coach, Tanya Obbs, urging her players to cut down on their turnovers and really focus on placement in this last quarter. Kath and Sam, you've been listening in the other end. They must be pretty happy in Swifts camp.
Absolutely thrilled. Bryony Akel, nothing but positives to her team. Really just encouraging, saying more of what happened in that third quarter. Talked a little bit about the angles and where they were taken to the youngster Sophie Fawns. Doesn't want them so flat, but wants them out on the 45 just to cut the defenders off. Paige Hadley, a little bit of attention too to that eye. Obviously cut it open last week. No stitches, just the glue. So we'll keep an eye on that as it starts to get quite physical, and no doubt will continue to in this final quarter. There's the co-captain, Maddie Proud, sitting on 36 feeds. As we mentioned last time, these two sides missed just 28, so already well and truly above that, and still 15 minutes of netball to play. Sam, what do you think the Adelaide Thunderbirds need to do in this final 15?
For me, they need to get hands on ball, which isn't too hard because they have been doing that in this game. I mean, I'm surprised. I would have brought Lucy Austin into the goal shooter because they need to make sure that they get the ball, but they actually go down and score. Like, they've never had trouble in this season of getting ball. It's the transition. It is the execution of their attack line to score.
Well, and again, even for just the sake of the fresh legs, we've said it 1,000 times, the midweek games coming up, it's a really tough time for teams. Oh, Wilson, how athletic can you get? It was just the footwork that let her down. Wow. There was some serious airtime. Have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. She went up early and had to stay up there. Took Maddie Proud down in the process.
Wait 1 second.
Had an exceptional day, LaTanya Wilson. Certainly one of the shining lights for this Adelaide Thunderbirds lineup. Proud, well, the easy 1-2 coming with Helen Housby, and it was just the timing, wasn't it? Waiting for the move.
And that's what they spoke about in that quarter time is commit to the drive, use your change of direction. And something they've been talking about is using their fakes. So the defenders were looking at Proud. They can't see their players. That's where the ball and the vision comes from the New South Wales attack line.
Sarah Clow having a cracker of a game, sitting at 88.5 missing net points. And if we have a look or talk about the quarter time breakdown, the Swifts by 2 in the first, then it was the Adelaide Thunderbirds by 2. The Swifts taking control of what we call the championship quarter in that third, 18-10.
And for me, that's where the damage was done in that third quarter. T-Birds can chip away. They have the ability to get hands on ball. And for me, that's why I would want Austin to come into this game, because Clow has had an incredible match so far.
And she's not going to stop doing what she's doing.
Well, when you're confident and you're getting hands on ball, you then go for risks and take chances, and you're almost invincible.
Well, if the game's not changing around her, why is she going to change what she's doing? Absolutely. Look for some more intercepts coming from Sarah Clow. Another one on the board from Helen Housby makes it 10. That will make the two coaches a little bit happier, probably feeling a little bit more relieved. There's the last 10 and some patches of Swifts taking the last 4 as they open up this quarter 3-zip. The swing and the easy pop over the top to Sophie Fawns. Dribbles out. Shamira Sterling cleans it up.
That's what they've been so good at this season and this game. They are #1 in the league when it comes to rebounds. It's just about now continually to move the ball. That's a great give by Williams and finding some nice space with Potgieter. Much better transition from the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
Well, it was slower, wasn't it? A lot slower, a lot more calculated. Really.
And options to the ball as well. As a player, you just don't want one option, multiple players and going. The drives are there, and I think that change with Hodges coming into goal attack has found and opened up that nice space. As we see Potgieter again getting that ball under the post. So a nice transition of play by the Adelaide Thunderbirds.
Well, just got to keep in touch here, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. I don't want it to blow out any more than it already is. Sophie Fawns didn't like that position.
Not only do you want to come back into this match, Coxie, but you also got to think about this ladder. The possession in terms, the percentage, on this ladder is so tight. Every single goal matters in a game.
It is a very good point you make, because if the Swifts or the Thunderbirds get a win here, they get themselves to 16 points. Equal with 2 other teams at the moment. Whoever's got the higher percentage is going to be in that top 4. That is a big deal.
Well, it is, and I've been part of seasons before where it's come down to the last game and knocked out of finals because of percentage. So every goal matters, and every goal against you matters as well.
Crowd wanting to get on with the job, but it's Wilson that's after it. Have a look at the ladder there. We mentioned 4 teams sitting on the 16 points at the moment.
The vision from Petty then, I feel like the last couple of plays, they're opening up things a little bit nicer, and that's because Horges has come back into play. I think that combination is a nicer combination, and I know they've been forced into other ways without Macy Nankerville in this match.
Yeah, now you can see the Swifts players driving past the defenders coming through, and it really does take the defence out of the equation. That was when Wilson was cleaning up all the intercepts when they were trying to go over the top. You mentioned that, Sam.
Well, and if we put a reel of intercepts in this game, it's all from the attackers running backwards and the defenders running forwards, and that's a beautiful line when you're a defender. Again, T-Birds with the intercept. They certainly make you pay if you miss a goal.
Well, this, though, is the issue. Let's see if they can tidy it up, a little bit more control on their attacking approach and get a score off it here, the Adelaide Thunderbirds. McDonald in at wing attack and Horges now at goal attack. So this combo we've spoken about a bit, we feel is the best attacking shooting combination for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Can that give them a bit more understanding, a bit more confidence in what they're doing inside that circle, and can they get this margin back within 10?
I think they can. They need to keep chipping away. These transitions are a lot better in these last couple of minutes, but for me it's Georgie Horges on the drive. When she cuts front in that circle and takes that drive, it makes your defenders accountable. So they either have to go with you or she opens up, or Pop Gita opens up the space, and that's what I think they were missing with Tipper in goal attack today.
Yeah, I think Georgie Horges, a lot more of a playmaker, smarter with the ball in hand, and no issue with what she can do on the shot, which is very important, particularly when we get to 3 more minutes, as we just see another turnover go against the Adelaide Thunderbirds. General play turnovers, 31. That is, well, 22 is huge, 31 is massive.
Well, when we look at this season, the teams that are winning matches are 22 or lower. So if you're under 20, you're confident you're going to win the game. High 20s is not going to win you a game, especially above 30.
Sophie Fawns keeps the 10-goal buffer. Don't forget, straight after this game, it'll be Pivot with Hannah Hollis. That'll be a full wrap of all the round 9 action. And a couple of special guests. One of them will be Bryony Akel, the head coach of the New South Wales Swifts. And she'll certainly be happy with what she's seen in the second half of this game from her team. Ball over the top to Williams has been good. Been a little quiet, though, since all the action of that second quarter when she entered the game, and got herself 5 beautiful intercepts. Still sitting on the 5, so she hasn't had one in this second half. Good rebound, strong rebound coming from Potgieter.
I think she's more comfortable now with Georgie Horges in front of her too. I think Georgie knows where she can put that for. Sarah Clow with the rejection. Hasn't she been in absolutely everything in this match?
Sarah Clow has been absolutely outstanding. Surely she's on her way.
6 intercepts in this match. We've been super impressed by Williams and Wilson, but again, Sarah Clow, she's been in everything. Yes, her footwork, her reading the play, some of those balls just haven't been there, but you have to be in the right position, and she is making the most of those opportunities.
Had to pick an MVP right now, who would it be?
Oh, it's tough, Coxie. I'd have to say Sarah Clow. I thought you were being
serious.
No, it is tough, though, just because Wilson and Williams have stepped up, but for me, you can't go past Sarah Clow.
Yep, absolutely no issues with the MVP going to the losing side if it's a cracker of a game. Tippett Dwan has come back onto the court. Georgie Horges will take a little rest. So we spoke about, thought there was more familiarity with Horges and Potgieter, but it didn't last very long. Maybe again thinking about Tuesday, Wednesday of next week and having to go again.
And sometimes giving a player the chance to sit and watch and come back on and make impact. You don't want someone without confidence going into this many games in a row. So, you know, the scoreline is there now. Do you give clear instruction to Tipper and say, this is exactly what I want from you? You've sat here and watched, now go out and do it.
Still 10 the difference, 40 seconds away from the Power 5, and without doubt, the Adelaide Thunderbirds have got themselves into a position where they're going to have to start backing themselves and shooting it. We've seen lots of body on the floor in the second half of this contest. Has been physical. The importance of it not lost on any player out on court. It would really keep their season alive if they could get a win here. Goals from turnovers, 10 to the New South Wales Swifts, just the 4 to the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and the Adelaide Thunderbirds have had plenty more turnovers. Sophie Fawns continues. There it is, the siren. And look now for Tipper Dwan to get herself right here in this position, and she needs to sink them. Well, she doesn't. Potgieter has got to get these rebounds, though. If this is the game plan, got to get herself in a better position.
And the want and the hunger to get this ball. Nothing's finished until that person has it in their hands. That's your role. If someone's shooting a 2, you're either being an option in another area of the 2-point, or you're blocking out for that rebound.
Yeah, Tipper Dwan is the shortest in the circle, so really if she's shooting those balls, it's got to come down to Potgieter as we see the Swifts exploit that baseline one more time. The co-captain, Paige Hadley, is fired up. And it will be a tactical timeout, an HCF timeout to the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Where's the discussion going to lie here? Surely some talk around the super shot. They're in the position now where they have to take them.
We need to up it now.
Okay, run George into shooter, okay? Make sure that you're on the inside of the play and you're having to, you're getting caught on the offside. We need you connecting with, if you're not first phase, we need you connecting in second, yeah? Let's just play our sides, yeah? Shorten up the movement in there. We can get some double plays between each other. And just have a crack, yeah? Let's have a go. In that space, you're right, Tay? You're right? Let's go, girls.
This is not the end. We are so much better than this. Let's up it. Let's go to the end, guys. Let's dig in. T-Birds on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Still plenty of fire in the Adelaide Thunderbirds huddle, and no surprises whatsoever by the changes made in the shooting circle for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Georgie Horges has been moved into goal shooter, and it will leave Tipper Dwan at goal attack. So the intent is very clear here. It is Suncorp super shot time, and they need to be draining them. Down by 12. It's a lot of pressure on those two players, isn't it, Sam?
Well, it is, and Tanya gave them license. She said, let's have a crack at these 2s, and you have to. With this scoreline, your only ability to get back in the game is by using this incredible Suncorp Super Shot power time.
And what a good start. They've already turned the ball over here. So the first opportunity is potentially coming from the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Got to keep possession, got to get it to the circle.
And keep that ball moving. They've got 2 attackers now in that circle that can be fast and move. They have to get these Swifts defenders moving.
Look at the height difference between Georgie Horges and Sarah Clow. That is going to be the real challenge. Probably not so much in getting the ball, but getting the shot up when you've got that sort of height difference over you.
And you're right, the pressure from the New South Wales Swifts, not only over the ball, but holding for 3 seconds.
Well, here's the first one. Can it drop? It does! Tipper Dwan. She's been given a task. and up for the challenge. And it all started here with winning the ball back for the Adelaide Thunderbirds. The centre pass to follow. Well, it's a tough game to play out, particularly if they continue to spray ball. But it can be done. We saw Matisse Leatherbarrow do it yesterday. 9 Suncorp super shots, and they all came in very quick succession. So it's not out of the question.
It certainly isn't, but it's the ability to go fast-paced transition to steady up and make sure that ball goes. I feel like McDonald then just forced that ball. She should have steadied it, made sure it got in there.
Another change being made down the shooting end for the New South Wales Swifts. Kelly Singleton back on at goal attack. And Helen Housby in shooter up against Shamira Sterling. There's Helen Housby's stats. 26 from 30, so been good. Only the 1 super shot taken. And Helen Housby has the most sunk in the whole competition, but the last couple of weeks hasn't needed to take any, and hasn't.
No, and I think that's smart play from the Swifts. And not only do we need to remember the shooter has the choice to sink or take that shot, it's the whole attacking unit around. So working her into a shot, they've been confident. I don't think she's had to take that risky shot rather than working to the post.
There's your match leaders with the miss and net points. Sarah Clow having an absolute blinder. And then 2 patches of Thunderbirds, Williams and Wilson. But as we mentioned, a lot of that damage was done early in the game. Williams, the 5 intercepts, hasn't had one since. And then 2 more Swifts to round out that top 5. Out by 12 at the moment, the New South Wales Swifts here. If they continue to put the points on the board, it's really going to put the pressure on the Adelaide Thunderbirds. And they do just that through the cool head of Helen Housby, the English international. Housby, the long ball into the pocket, finds Proud. Housby, Hadley. Back to Housby again. Much smarter with the ball worked out, the Swifts in the second half of the game.
Smarter, and they have options. So they can either fake and open somebody up. They're not forced to go to that person, and they're doing a better job of not telegraphing the passes like they were in that middle part of the game.
That's been the real difference, hasn't it, between the first and the second halves, but that's all that had to happen.
Yeah, just a, can we say, simple change between using the fake. Sarah Clow, this has to be, and it is, the best game of her season.
Sarah Clow has been absolutely outstanding, hasn't she? 33 seconds left. Caitlin Bassett, what have you loved about it?
Yeah, look, she's finding form at the right time. Her and Maddie Turner really putting the pressure on in that circle. And I think, you know, in the lead up to finals and climbing up the ladder, finding form now is so very important, and to keep going from this team. Absolutely. Again, just to reiterate, the New South Wales Swifts before the game last week were in last position. What a turnaround in the last couple of weeks as we see a couple of Suncorp super shots go awry. It'll be little too late now for the Adelaide Thunderbirds, and there it is, a solid 14-goal victory to the New South Wales Swifts to make it 2 in a row at home, and they now jump clear of the bottom of the ladder where they were just a week ago. What a performance, and what a second half, to be precise. They won that third quarter by 8. They won that fourth quarter by 6. There is the ball game.
Well, and to keep an opposition to 7 goals in the first and fourth is outstanding.